As the Freemasons have always stated they're not a religious group, it now seems that they have put up a struggle with regards to transparency and the police, based on religious grounds. Welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me in another video. If you're new here, smash subscribe and let's jump straight into the video. The Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, Sir Mark Rowley, has renewed calls for greater transparency around Freemasonry within the police service, arguing that the public's confidence depends on openness about potential conflicts of interest in position of power and favours. After speaking amid ongoing efforts to rebuild trust in policing, Mark Rowley has indicated that the public has a legitimate interest in knowing whether police officers, particularly those in senior and sensitive roles, belong to organisations historically associated with secrecy and mutual obligation, going as far as to cover fellow Masons' crimes until they pass, which is where the allegations of Jimmy Savile being a member and only his crimes coming to light after his passing also come from. Freemasonry has long maintained a presence within British public life, including the police force, the judiciary system, the military and politics. This can be shown with the police, with the black and white checkered band that goes around the hat, that is similar and resembles the black and white checkered floorboard of Freemasonry.
It's completely reprehensible. As soon as we got the letter from the Panorama programme a couple of weeks ago, detailing some of the content that they had, we suspended 10 officers and staff, and we're now working with the Independent Office of Police Complaints, who we invited in to work as quickly as possible to get them out the get them off the payroll. They're suspended; they're not anywhere near the public anymore, but I want them off the payroll and gone as quickly as possible. We've done an extraordinary amount. We're part way through the biggest counter-corruption initiative that policing has ever seen in this country. We've removed nearly 1,500 men and women from the organisation. It's 557 removed last year. Most of that stands on the brave men and women in the organisation who really care, who are reporting their colleagues for behaving disgracefully.
A question about Freemasonry in the Met Police. Why is that something you're worried about, and why is that something police officers need to declare?
Freemasonry has been the subject of numerous reports over decades in the police, including recommendations recently that it ought to be a declarable association that's explicit. Nobody's confronted this in the past. We have information intelligence that tells me we do need to confront it, and that's why we've published the draft policy, which will be coming into action in the next few weeks. I see evidence of it being linked to misconduct. I see evidence of it linked to expectations of favouritism and favourite treatment. And I also see evidence that the sense that people are part of secret networks undermines the trust of others in the organisation.
But while Masonic organisations insist that membership is a private matter and does not influence professional conduct, critics have argued that secrecy alone can undermine confidence, regardless of whether wrongdoing is proven, and such codes within Freemasons, such as covering your fellow Masons' crimes to their passing, is a concern for the public. In response to renewed transparency proposals, representatives of Freemasonry have reportedly raised objections to the basis of privacy and freedom of belief, arguing that compelled disclosure could amount to discrimination. But how, might you ask? Well, this is based on religious grounds, but the Freemasons for many years have argued. So you might be asking yourself the question, which religion is this? Well, based on the fact that the Freemasons do not worship an idol such as Jesus or the Prophet Muhammad, but worship a god known as Ramthen, it's also very similar and runs coincident with the Jewish religion that also has no prophet and worships a single god. While the mainstream media will tell you this is the Star of David, there is no reference to the name David or the Star of David in the Book of Judaism, otherwise known as the Book of Solomon. It is in fact actually a sign and symbol of Freemasonry, with one triangle pointing upwards, overlapped by another triangle that is pointing down, as in the Freemasonry code and the saying of as above, so below. Unfortunately, if there is any discrimination within the Freemasons, it's the fact that you can't join the Freemasons unless you follow the religion of Judaism.
Abiding by the rules of our organisation, if the officer was to treat you in any way differently, then they'd be breaking one of the most fundamental rules of Freemasonry, which is that nobody should get any kind of benefit, be it financial, professional or any other kind, purely as a result of their membership of Freemasonry. So again, that's a very, I've heard that misconception a number of times.
Police officers in London, the Met basically, may soon have to declare if they're also Freemasons. The Metropolitan Police are said to be consulting on all this. Let's talk to the policing and crime commentator Danny Shaw, and in a moment we are also going to talk to the communications director for the United Grand Lodge of England as well, I should say. So Danny, people have long pondered on the links between Freemasonry and the police. Is it a concerning link, would you say?
I don't think there's any evidence that there's a concerning link. The one report that looked into this in quite some detail was the independent panel report into the murder of Daniel Morgan, private investigator who was killed with an axe in his head and found in a car park in South London in 1987. That case has featured, in a number of programmes and has also been investigated endlessly by the Met. And corruption played a part in the botched investigation into that. There's no doubt about it. The panel report said that it hadn't seen any evidence that Masonry was affected the investigation or was corruptly used in it, despite the fact that a number of officers were members of Freemasons. I think about 11.
Freemasonry even stretches as far as the royal family. As shown in front of you, Prince Charles can be seen on a black and white checkered floor, exactly the same as the Freemasonry symbol, as well as the two trees either side that represent the pillars. Many well-known figures in the public eye are actually Freemasons and belong to the Jewish faith. These are people such as Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, because Lennon is a Jewish name, the same as John Lennon from the Beatles. Also is Keir Starmer. Also is Donald Trump, who became a Jew in 2017. This also follows Piers Morgan, and also Katie Hopkins and Tommy Robinson. This even stretches as far in Freemasonry as activists who have already denounced their faith and religion. These are people who have declared themselves Jewish Zionists, which is why when they get themselves into trouble or they go to prison, in a world full of camera phones, we never seem to see any footage or pictures of these so-called celebrities. After all, if you was in prison and your favourite celebrity was, wouldn't you want to get a picture? Yet there seems to be nothing at all of any of them. There is a running consistent feature of all these people who are activists and belong to this faith. That is the fact that they all have a large prominent nose, which would probably explain why the most common procedure in Hollywood is a plastic nose job. Being a celebrity and belonging to Freemasonry might also explain that when you are caught committing serious crimes, that you all tend to go to the same court, which is the Westminster Magistrates Court in London. Now, people could argue this point that the crimes were committed in this area, but that's a lot of crimes by a lot of celebrities all in one area, when I'm sure these have been caused all over different parts of the UK. So why is it that they all go to Westminster Magistrates Court? Now, this could be down to the Crown Prosecution Service, which should raise even more eyebrows, but also the fact that it states that the judges are well equipped to deal with celebrities and the media. If you think this is all a little bit far-fetched, then it wouldn't surprise you to know that there's actually 2 Masonic lodges of Freemasonry based just in Westminster alone. Or is there the possibility that the reason that all these celebrities go to the same court is because the judge that's dealing with them belongs to the same Freemason lodge as what they do? Now, it's not unfamiliar or unheard of that Freemasonry is rife within the court system, running from judges, solicitors, Crown Prosecution, and even those who are being prosecuted themselves. That is why favours have to be thrown as part of the code. Which just goes to show in the British justice system and the court system that there is no such thing as justice, but only favours. Is this why, in the strange bazaar of events surrounding Conor McGregor, who is said to have raped a woman, but rather than face criminal prosecution at the magistrates and the Crown Court and actually be prosecuted for rape, he was taken to the Civil Claims Court and sued? Something I've never heard of in my lifetime and is absolutely peculiar for a case of rape. So rather than going through the criminal courts and being sent to prison, he was taken to the civil courts and sued. And let me know if you can make that make sense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think it's about time that the police became transparent with regards to who is a Freemason member, and maybe this should stretch as far as celebrities, so there is clear transparency and the public know exactly who's who? Don't forget to smash subscribe, smash the like button too. Take care of yourselves, and if you're interested in Freemasonry and numerology, don't forget to check out our other channel, which is Mr. Freemason on YouTube. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.